John Doe is probably the most uncomfortable killer in the game to be chased by. It's not anything to do with him being the strongest or being the fastest. It's not either of those. Because like no matter where you go, you're never truly safe when it comes to playing against John Doe. And if you don't understand how to think around that, you're gonna just keep dying and dying to John Doe no matter how many hours you have on this game. So in this video, I'm gonna try my best for as much as you can do in just a YouTube video and break down how to play against John Doe. The thing most people don't really clock about John Doe is just how much positioning actually really matters against him. 10 studs is genuinely all it can take sometimes to turn what could be a 2-minute chase into a 30-second chase. Not because of his M1, again, not because of his speed, he's a slow killer, but entirely because of where you are when corrupt energy comes out. Because depending on where you are on the obstacle that he's going to try to spike you on, that is the small difference between whether sending it out completely stops John Doe from being able to cut you off, like there's nothing he could have done to cut you off, and him being able to cut you off and kill you in like 40 seconds. I mean, when spikes are off cooldown, every position you take needs to have a check in your head. Can he wall me off here? Can he wall me off here? And if you can't get out before he can cut you off, then you're probably fried. The most common mistake I'll see people make against John Doe if they're not very experienced, even in comp if they're silver or bronze level, is treating it like corrupt energy can only cut you off if you're actually looping something actively. If you're just running near wall in general, spikes can turn that into a portable dead zone. And it's not like the 50-50 like mass infection or something. There's times where if you let a John Doe get into a position, it's going to be a lose-lose for you no matter what you do. And that's what you need to avoid in the first place. And that is really just not an exaggeration. It really just depends how good is that John Doe you're playing against. The best way to probably teach you about how to deal with spikes is imagine the lava scene in Incredibles. You know when Mr. Incredible's running through the lava wall and it's like about to close on him? That's basically what it is like dealing with John Doe spikes. If you run too close to a wall, they will come down on you like a Venus flytrap and you're going to be done for. And on top of this, almost any position on any map can be cut off if he reads you correctly. For example, on Brandon's works, for example, you may think it's safe to run up the backside of Castle if he has no digital footprints down. This is just completely wrong. Like, this is a difficult trap, but if a John Doe is good enough, they can hit it basically every single time because it's not luck-based, it's skill-based. Just generally, if you're not pressuring John Doe, a good John Doe left unchecked will always find something to kill you. I'm just going to put in a section from how to win every chase in 6 minutes here because it's literally the exact same thing I'd be explaining.
Against killers, especially like John Doe, Nosferatu, or Cool Kid, staying on the one loop is always going to get you cut off by their trapping abilities. This is when loop chaining becomes especially important, but before committing to an object, ask 3 things. Is it big enough to survive a chase reset attempt? Do I have realistic plays, and do I have good visibility on it? Chaining away from a loop because you're against a trapper killer just to run into a dead zone is going to get you killed either way. Ideally plan at least the next object you're going to run to before you have to run to it though.
And just to add for digital footprints are straightforward. They're basically just permanent placeable walls. Don't walk through them unless it's that or you're going to die instantly or you have an insane distance and no one else is in chase. At the start of the match, take a note on where he places them down and just try avoid going to those positions for the rest of the game. So the question comes up, how do you beat John Doe? How do you make John Doe quiet like a baby from everything we've talked about? For this, we're going to have to focus on corrupt energy, because if you're dying from something that's not corrupt energy consistently, if that's not your issue, then you just need to improve your normal mechanics on its own. First of all, how close am I to a wall? If the answer is close, getting distance from that wall should be a pretty big priority on your list. Unless you're about to reach the end of the wall anyways, if he's going for spikes, he's going to cut you off like I talked about earlier, like the Incredible scene, and you're going to die. Second, which is the least zonable spot I can reach without letting him cut me off, burning unnecessary stamina, not letting him get a demon chase reset. Like I said earlier, focus on loop chaining. You have to think about where's the best position you can go to next. You want to get to the openest areas, the furthest away from the edges of the map when you can. Because this means for him to actually be able to do work, he has to gamble on more than 1 or 2 spikes hitting if he goes for a snipe. Otherwise he's going to have to wait until he can funnel you back into an area where he can actually attempt his zone. Like, if John Doe can't make use of the spikes, he's genuinely like the least threatening killer in the game. Even on the smallest loops, you're able to just take 1 M1 and that's you away if you properly manage your stamina. Now sometimes you will get funneled into a bad position, sometimes you're going to get into a position where if John Doe plays perfectly, he's going to zone you and you're going to die. This is where we have to spike bait, we have to. If we don't, we're going to let him focus in, he's going to get his zone, and that's us going to be dead. The best way to do this is to try and make John Doe commit to a zone and then leave it. This leaves him in a position where he's probably already wasted too many spikes to where you're going to be able to get out even if he tries to trap you off. Leaving him to have to try flick snipe you, and even if he hits like 1 or 2 spikes, you're usually going to get away scot-free, no M1's taken. You have to like really abuse the panic that he's going to have when he realizes you're running out of the zone he was already planning. At the end of the day, if he was a robot, if he didn't have any feelings, if he didn't have any emotions, if he was playing perfectly, then sure, it wouldn't work. But sometimes you are going to have to rely on those gambles and hoping that he messes up when you're in this very zonable area. This is why, again, we don't want to get into a situation where we have to spike bait, but if we're in a position where it's that or death, we have to go for the spike bait at that point. Because like people miss, that's the only leverage you're going to have in that situation. Example spots of where you're going to need spike baiting is Brandon's World, Graveyard, The Rock in the Garden on Horror Hotel, Godwall and Glass Houses. That's just a general idea of like positions where like you're able to be zoned, but if you bait him out properly, he's going to mess up his zone in some way, and that's how you're going to get out. But again, do not take those as only positions. You want to go down fighting, you have to try think, if I'm going to die here, what can I do to try and make a mess up his spikes? What can I do? What can I do? I'm going to reiterate it one more time. It's a gambit. It's not a strategy. Use it when you have no better option. You could also do it as a flashy play, but do not do it when you're trying to lock in seriously unless you have to. Because sometimes you're going to get zoned, sometimes you're going to mess up, sometimes the John Doe's just going to out. So this video hopefully give you the framework on how to play against John Doe. Now, it's something I'm going to have to say. I think I said at the beginning I should have, because it's just the truth. You have to play against John Doe to learn how to fully play against John Doe. If any guide on YouTube promises you to teach you true game sense, they're lying to you. It's just not possible to teach something like game sense in just a video. Forgive me for mentioning math, but it's like math. I can give you the formula book, I can give you everything, but you need to actually go out there and use it so you can learn how to apply it more efficiently. Every bad position, every time you panic, every time you use stamina when you shouldn't be using it. Playing against John Doe now after learning the framework will be more valuable than anything I just told you alone. The more you go against corrupt energy, the more you'll figure it out. And if you want to watch more gameplay like in the background footage to try help yourself out, it's going to be on my second channel. Anyways, that's about it. See ya.